Shut up and sit down.
Well, everybody. Welcome back to THiRD SHiFT, episode 25. Oh my God, somebody give us a quarter. Dang, this is awesome. You know who I am. I am Eric, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, and sometimes host, depending on who's hosting, Mr. Matt. Mr. Matt, how's this week treating you, buddy?
Who are you, strange person I'm talking to via Skype? I don't even remember who you are, what your face is. What is going on?
Don't start with me. You know.
Nice of you to be back this week, Eric. Jeez Louise.
I've been back. Dropbox. I blame Dropbox for it all.
Sure. But anyway, this week has been pretty good. Quarter end is finally done, so I'm trying to get back onto a normal sleep and having fun schedule. It's sort of working right now, but not great.
It's not going to work because we have to do tax end next week.
Shut up, Eric. I don't care about next week. I care about right now. But speaking of quarter end, during quarter end, fun story, I turned my coworker Mario onto the podcast. I was like, dude, listen to the podcast. And he subscribed on his iPhone. And then every day I was like, you listen to the podcast? Oh, I haven't yet. Listen to the podcast. Did you listen now? Oh, I haven't yet. You listen now. And then he finally got around to listening to it. He's like, oh, dude, fun podcast. You guys are pretty good. Then the very next day, he was off work. I'm like, what happened to Mario? Oh, apparently he's got like a really bad sore throat and doesn't have a voice or anything. I was like, yes. He listened to the podcast and laughed himself half to death, and he hasn't been into work for like the past 4 days.
Perfect. See, we did our job.
So, health disclaimer for all you elderly, sickly people out there. THiRD SHiFT may kill you. Ask a doctor if you're healthy enough for THiRD SHiFT. If THiRD SHiFT causes laughter of longer than 4 hours, seek medical attention.
You know, this has always been part of the plan, man. I know we didn't really discuss it, but you know me and my death toll.
I mean, it was implied. I knew. Anything that you wanted to go into business with, we have to murder somebody somehow.
Precisely.
We got close with Mario, apparently.
Good. Actually, I could probably get to jail for saying something like that. I'm going to get interrogated next week.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's not our fault. No disrespect to the guy, but this is the kind of guy, if you threw a cotton ball at him, you'd probably like break all his bones. He's like falling apart. Anyway, how was your week?
Well, let's see. Miserable. We had quarter end, and for those of you who don't know, real briefly, it's we got to work, weekends, lots of hours.
Oh, hey, yeah, you wouldn't know because you don't listen to the show, but I described it in the last episode, so you don't have to tell them what it is.
But you know what? Hey, this might be someone fresh from the bucket of mics listening
That's
in
true.
tonight.
Okay.
And they have not heard last week's episode. And then
okay,
like, why
fair
are
enough.
these morons discussing quarter end? So shut it.
Okay, all right, I'll shut it. I'll drink some more beer.
So anyways, lots of work. Yes, there you go. Drink your beer and let me do my intro. How about that? But it's been a lot of fun.
You're lucky I'm giving you an intro after you skipped last week.
Man.
Get out of here.
I didn't skip last week. It's a stupid Dropbox. It's been wonderful. We've been working our butts off. Finally, as Matt just said, we're getting a break. Oh, the family's been a little tired. We all got some kind of stomach flu, as I've discussed before. Man, what a last couple weeks it's been. But you know what? A little bit of gaming time, as always, has been put in there. Not that much, to be honest, though, because, well, life has not been so great lately. But with these recent announcements and these streams, it's all changing, isn't it?
It's getting there.
It's getting there. What do you mean it's getting there? You just said don't think about next week, and we're just going to think about happy times.
Right. It's a fantastic day today. We're glad to be back in your ear holes. And speaking of glad to be back, what else came back this week, Eric?
Talented Tuesday, Matt. And you know what? We had an old school classic up on there. We had Old Clappy Trap.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? I got to say, I liked all of them. You know, as per usual, Danny put in that detail. Had one of those clap traps. Like, oh, man, I could actually frame that and put it up. That'd look great. And both of us had our nice little quirks going. And
that's right.
I laughed and chuckled at all of them. So it was wonderful.
Yeah, yours was definitely a fun surprise. I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, well, you know, that was another last-minute hoorah. I don't know actually where I got the motivation for it at all. I was just sitting there drawing Claptrap, and then I went, bam, I know. And the boulder came in and the hat came in, and it just happened. It's magic. And then after I got done and posted it, I said, you know what could have made this better? A little mini Pendles that's just a snake off in the corner.
Oh, that would have been good.
As a little ode to Indiana Jones, you know? Ah, man, I said, damn, missed opportunity, but that's all right.
That's all right. You had a laughing rat. That's fine.
It was better than nothing.
So who's up next week?
Oh, well, goodness, man, I don't know. I guess let's stick to Borderlands this time around. We're going to go with Lilith.
And record scratch. Here comes a new challenger because we got a special challenge round this week. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
But our buddy Joe King challenged us to do a special character.
Oh, Jesus. Who do we got going?
Now, this was in the lead-up to the Oscar Mike versus the Battle School stream, where Solus Scientist asked, is there going to be a live art stream like they did with Beatrix? Mental Mars said, oh, hey, Sung Kim should draw a chibi Jim Ferronda. And Joe King immediately said, hey, that sounds like a job for Talented Tuesday on third shift. You can't say no.
Oh, God.
So,
well, we can't say no.
It's double duty. We got to do a Lilith art, and then we have to do a chibi Jim Ferronda.
All right.
Boom.
I can do it. Challenge accepted.
That's exactly the GIF I posted.
Chibi Jim Ferronda. Oh, this will be fun. I can't wait.
So yeah, keep an eye out for 2 pieces of Haggard art this week. Not just one from the 2 of us, and then like 2 actually pretty good pieces maybe from Danny.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to give Bea and Danny a run for their money.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Okay.
busting out. I'm sharpening those crayons, and the true skill is coming out.
Nice crisp crayon from the box.
That's right. Look at that sharp edge. Getting all that color in there.
So yeah, as usual, you can check out the preview versions of last week's awesome creations on our Twitter account. Hit up the Instagram for the full versions. And like we said, look out for a double dose of Talented Tuesday next week. So moving on into This Week at Gearbox, what do we got going on first? We got the release of the BattleBots mode, which was announced last week. That just went live just a couple hours ago, actually. Randy Varnell said they were having a little bit of an issue getting that to go live, but during the Oscar Mike versus the Battle School stream, they got everything up and rolling, all the hot fixes and everything from this week. So it should be live as you're hearing this, obviously. I believe it runs through Monday. So hop on in. Again, that's 5 players versus 5 bots. They said they're deadly and vicious, so I'm assuming like hard mode bots, like I said last week.
And then secondly, we've got, once again, the announcement that winter update, all the Beatrix, the whole frickin' kit and caboodle, Oscar Mike, all come out next week. Oh, gosh. I cannot wait. I mean, like they were saying on the stream, which we'll talk about a little bit, how can you not pick Beatrix and then go into Oscar Mike versus the Battle School? It's impossible. I got to double dip and get all the new things at once.
That's
I just
right.
can't help myself. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, see, you're going to pick Beatrix, and I'm going to do, as I always do the first time we run through, I'll be Oscar Mike, so it'll be perfect. Hey, I brought my weird diseased friend to the Battle School, guys.
Your doctor, thank you very much.
That's true. Except I'm the one who's going to res you all the time, so...
Nah, that's not true.
That's how it always
lies.
is when I play Oscar.
You're so
I'm your
full of it.
resbot. That's come on.
Lies.
That's why we do that.
I'm pretty sure the last time you were Oscar Mike, I was res-biting you all night.
I'm sure I don't remember that.
I know you don't, because you had too many beers. That's why.
Well, how about you go in as Kelvin, and then we'll see.
Yeah, no, we learned our lesson already. How about you going as Kelvin, Matt? How'd that go for you? That went
Hey,
wonderful.
I can't be held responsible. That's like I said, many beers have been had. I don't know who you were even playing. You were like
Miko,
Atticus
maybe?
or something. No, I
was
think
like-
the Kelvin Miko was me, Miko, you Kelvin.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't matter. It's all bad news bears every time.
Bad, yeah, exactly.
Every time. But that was about it for this week at Gearbox, right?
Yeah, no other big announcements other than the awesome one that we did just get. No other new game announcements or anything. So, I guess that'll roll us straight into the battle plan. You want to kick us off?
Yeah. Not much that we already stated in the this week at Gearbox, so we're gonna skip new this week and go straight into the old hot fixes. Now, I would play the little horn, a little sad toot toot tootin', because Galilea, unfortunately, is finally getting some nerfs.
Yeah.
It's a sad day for all the Galilea players out there, but they attached a paragraph too, which was really nice.
Yeah.
On the reasoning behind what they're trying to do, what they're trying to make Galilea. So what they did was pretty cool. They put it in a little nice paragraph of what they're trying to do. And in a nutshell, they want to make Galilea more territorial like she's supposed to be. And that's meaning she gets to a spot and she fights within her desecrate. Mm-hmm. So if you see her inside of it, she's going to be not unstoppable, but holy cow, which is what they want. Hey, yeah. she's guarding, like, for example, in a capture, she's guarding Alpha. Well, I don't know. One-on-one, she's going to wreck me because she's going to have capabilities, that are going to make her way more powerful in that little arena, so you got to bring friends.
Or she's putting down her desecrate to hold down the minion wave so they don't get through onto the sentry and incursion, something like
Precisely. Yeah. But outside of that, they don't want her doing what she currently does, and that's kind of wrecking shop no matter where she's at.
Yeah.
You can use her as a tank. You could use her as a melee DPS. You can use her as, a mid-range support. You can use her in the territorial position that she's supposed to be. I mean, she's a one-shop do-it-all, as, we've said a million times before.
Yeah.
So in an effort to make her more balanced, the first thing they did was reduce her damage of shield throw by 31%, which is from 142 to 97 at level 1. And that I can understand. It makes me sad because I thought her shield throw was fantastic. It was one of my favorite things to do with Galilea, but, what'd you think?
I think for me that's not that big of a deal because it's kind of like Eldrag's clothesline damage. It just is kind of a bonus for me. Mm-hmm. If I'm hitting you with the shield throw, I'm not thinking, I'm going to do good damage to you. I'm thinking you're going to be stunned for 2 seconds or whatever it is.
Yeah, and that's where I'm coming from too. It was used for the stun, but the damage was nice.
Yeah.
Just to get that
just
that
a
momentum
nice little
rolling.
Chunk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then secondly, they reduced the damage of Galilea's greatsword primary attack by 22%, from 66 to 55 at level 1. That hurts. I mean, ouch. That's a nice little chunk of damage. I mean, whew. I still think it's okay because it goes in line with what they're trying to do with the whole stand in your desecrate, or you're just not going to be as competitive as some of the other raw melee DPSers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think this one's too bad either because, I mean, you just said the numbers right there. It's 11 less damage, so you're going to have to hit them one extra time, or hit them with a shield throw or a poison desecrate to do a little that tick of damage that you're losing each time. So I don't think it's that bad. Plus, your teammates can support you in that brawl if they need to. I think it's a big deal, but it did make me put a frown on my face earlier today.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, the one I think is kind of a little harsh is decrease the growth rate of corruption passive by 40%. I mean, that's a huge percentage. That's, that one kind of hurts. I see the other two for sure, no big deal, but that one, I think that's really the game changer right there, because that's just a lot of damage.
Yeah, I agree with that, just because whenever I play Galilea, I feel like I'm almost always fully corrupted, and I take, the health regen or the other good stuff when you are corrupted. So if I'm not corrupted all the time, which obviously is more balanced, but I think I'll definitely notice that.
So basically, in a nutshell, and as a side note, they said that due to the way the change was made, Galilea will appear to become fully corrupted sooner than she actually is. So basically, it doesn't sound like they were able to fix the meter little thingy, bajoe in time.
Well, I think they said the meter is accurate, but the graphical display of
the graphical, the little
different, yeah,
the haze or whatever.
Yeah, the horns and the goop. The extra goop.
So be aware of that. Make sure you guys aren't relying on the visual cues and just look at, like you just said, the meters themselves, and you'll be all right. I don't know. Overall, I think it was needed.
Yeah.
But since I've been playing Galilea more, I've kind of gotten to liking her, so it sucks. It sucks to see her get nerfed a little bit.
Why would you
Little
nerf
sad.
my character? Why don't you nerf a character I hate? Oh, that's coming up right now.
What? Trash Can Bird is getting nerfed. Goodbye, Trash Can Bird. And for those of you who don't know who Trash Can Bird is, that's old Benedict. That's all he is to me, Trash Can Bird. But for those of you who think he might be okay, they are aware that he is very much OP right now, and they've been looking at all the meters and seeing that he's just topping DPS all the way across the board. So, baseline reduction. Guess what? Reduce the damage of his UPR SM-23 rocket launcher primary attack by 10%, from 211 to 190 at level 1. And then they also nerfed his health a little bit, but that's insignificant and doesn't really affect much.
Now, see, I disagree. I think the rocket launcher damage isn't that big of a deal because it's only 10%. But his base HP going down, it's almost like 150. So that's a pretty considerable nerf. Now, the only thing I will say to that is that'll definitely help you out against a good Benedict because he'll be flying all around. He'll be hard to hit. So I really like this nerf in that respect. But playing as a Benedict, I feel like I'm fragile as crap as it is. So this is really going to make me have to play him, almost like I did Eldrag after his big nerf, really hiding and picking my spots.
But that's the way Trash Can Bird's supposed to be played. You're supposed to fly around like the trash can bird you are and just fly away whenever any kind of trouble hits you. In the meantime, shooting your stupid rockets at everybody and blowing things up.
I guess you have a valid point.
Yeah. So congratulations, all you trash can bird players out there. You're going to be what you're supposed to be.
Poor Jeremy. Thank God we don't play with him anymore. He'd be very mad.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he'd be a sad banana.
So going on from hot fixes, we got the community spotlight. This week, I don't know if anybody saw on the Twitter, pretty much every Gearbox person I saw was retweeting or commenting on this. They got a little care package from somebody named Bea in Finland. It was all kinds of good art, kind of like a thank you letter or a like you guys are awesome kind of letter. And apparently this person, I think it's a lady, apparently this person also sent them a chocolate cake recipe because you can't really mail a cake from Finland, but I don't know, just some definitely cool art in there.
I'm surprised they didn't post that chocolate cake recipe. I was waiting for that in the stream.
That would be a good
I was
idea.
like, well, I know how to make chocolate cake. My wife knows how to make chocolate cake.
Yeah.
The recipe is posted. Maybe I can make that chocolate cake.
Maybe that'll be next week. They'll be like, hey, to celebrate all these releases, make yourself a frickin' cake. Boom, here's a cake from Finland you can make.
Exactly. And I do want to say, her artwork is frickin' awesome, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping they post all the pictures she did individually up because, like I said, they were awesome. And I'd love to see them in all their glory one at a time.
There's like a weird shot kind of taken at an angle, and there's an Atticus that she drew that looks frickin' phenomenal. I want to see that whole thing just all on its own.
I concur. So definitely good job, Bea. That was pretty awesome. And they gave her all sorts of mad prompts in the stream. And, of course, she hit the community spotlight. So, pretty sweet.
Yeah, definitely. Then moving on to the lore segment. Nice, big, meaty lore segment this time. And I do mean meaty because it was a lot of fun stuff with Oscar Mike basically getting a checkup from Beatrix with Galt in the room. But then you also get a lot of, well, not like a ton, but a lot more background than we originally had on kind of like the mics and like the mic cloning program. Reasons for them, reasons why they didn't use other species to do that. All kinds of good stuff in that. I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I really like the how they incorporated Beatrix coming off that stream on Tuesday, and then of course with Oscar Mike in the battle school, here he is, boom, and then a surprise, hey, and Galt's here too. It was wonderful, and I just liked how they got the character of Beatrix going right now. Like, she's just extremely intelligent, she actually seems to like she's got her crap together.
Yeah.
Which surprises me a little bit after the stream where she's like freaking mad case nutty, taunts, looking like she's some kind of serial killer or something.
Hey, whoa, we're going to talk about that later. Shh, spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, spoiler alert. So, anywho's, get in there and read it because they really put, as they always do, they put a lot of work into it, and it really gives you a look into Oscar Mike and why they pick these seemingly moronic characters to be their basic army.
All right, then in the coming up segment, rounding out the battle plan, they just announced that Chaos Rumble mode is coming back starting on the 19th of January, running through the 23rd, and you're also going to get double credits during that same time span, too. Again, not really very surprising because the new character's dropping on the 19th, and they always do a Chaos Rumble that way. Well, us early access people anyway, who get it with the Season Pass or the Digital Deluxe version, can play with that character regardless of who else picks him in the match. So, again, not too surprising, but definitely good.
Unfortunately, as we discussed, Matt, that's going to be a tax end for us, and we're going to be working that entire weekend.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you don't want to hear it, but that's true.
Hey, so it seems like Eric has dropped out of the Skype call, so I'm just going to do the rest of the show here, guys.
I'm just going to move on to Beatrix and the reveal stream, huh?
That's exactly it. Here we go.
Oh man, Matt, what about that frickin' Beatrix reveal?
That was pretty awesome. I enjoyed the heck out of it. We started off with Elisa, Anthony, and Ash Lyons, the VFX artist. So Ash was there pretty much to talk a little bit about, just kind of making VFX for Battleborn, kind of the little Easter eggs and stuff they've thrown in, referencing back to the Mental Mars article from a week ago. And he was kind of giving some tidbits about the VFX tweaks they threw in for Beatrix. He said there's some kind of smiley face bubbles in one of her taunts. Also hinted that whatever's in that tank of hers is alive. Apparently that's something they'll get more into with the lore. I don't know, just a fun little chat with him. Not a whole lot of Beatrix-specific stuff.
No, he was kind of going in general, and I think the reason it was a little hesitant was because he obviously already did the interview with Mental Mars and went into more depth for what part he plays and doing all of his little animations and stuff. And he's very much correct, and so is everyone else, when they say all those little animations you don't normally notice on their own, but together they really distinguish the character. So, you got to give mad props to him, because when you really look at it, all those little things really do make it so each and every character whenever you see an ability go off, whenever you see an explosion, etc., etc.
Now, one thing that I will mention that somebody else noticed in the chat was he specifically said, "Oh, I feel like I really went out with a bang with Beatrix." And people were like, "What does that mean? Like she's the last character? Like what?"
I'm pretty sure, obviously I don't want to state it's for facts, but
right.
It's pretty much safe to say, I would say it is probably the final character. Even Varnell previously stated that, we'd love to do more, but, it all depended on what kind of money they made, how big of a game it was, etc., etc.
Hey, you never know. Dreams could come true, Eric.
Is 2017 the year of dreams?
It could be. Seems like everyone's been saying no, but it could happen.
I was going to say, that's all I see is the opposite on Twitter and Facebook.
We don't talk about that on the show.
Yeah, that's true.
No politics. No,
that's right.
So yeah, when Ash Lyons stepped out, Randy Varnell stepped in for crazy lore story time segment with Jithri. This I thought was really pretty interesting. Not a lot of stuff we're going to dig into, obviously, but I recommend everybody go listen to that, because a lot of good info on the Generate, a lot of good info on like Beatrix and teases of what you're going to see her doing later on and how she's integrating herself with the Battleborn. A bunch of good stuff there.
I was actually a little surprised, because before we got any of that, I was kind of just imagining her as a 15, 17-year-old, young Generate, just being goofy and super smart, obviously, but not serious. But she's kind of portrayed as a twisted character, so that was definitely a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting that at all.
I kind of figured there would be more to her just because of that little lore bit we got of all her projects getting shut down and her rise up through school life, being bitter against people. And I don't know. I feel like our only real goofy character is a Rendy. And I think everyone else has got a more meat on their bones, really. More to them, I guess. More serious stuff. I don't know. So yeah, after Randy's giant storytime segment, they brought in Kevin Powell to talk more actually about Beatrix and her skills and everything. Figured we'd dive into those real quick for you. Not going to do a whole bunch, even though we did see 90% of her helix going as they went through her in the dojo, so I might freeze frame a little bit out of there just to kind of bone up on what we saw already. But starting off just with her basic attack, her weapon is the Insistix injector. So yeah, it does kind of work like we had theorized, kind of shooting individual drops out of her giant syringe arm. She got kind of a sniper scope on there too. apparently every shot from her injector applies infection, which is her passive, which we'll talk about in a second. But then if you aim down the scope, it'll do 75% more damage on the basic shot.
Well, actually, Matt, I don't think it had so much as a scope. It had a hard scope, and that's what I thought was super awesome. I was like, oh, my goodness, it's like an old World War II scope, with the hard sights sitting there. And then I know we weren't going to mention too much about the Helix, but later on the Helix, she has an ability to go ahead and augment her eyes to see further, so she gets a magnifying.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So at that point, you'll be able to actually do real sniper abilities if you choose that augmentation anyway.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked about that. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
So next up, we mentioned it just a second ago, her passive is Infection, and that, again, is applied via her basic attack. That wounds the target for 3 seconds if the shot's fired normally, or 5 seconds if it's fired down the scope. And it also does 1 tick of damage, 27 damage over 1 second. I thought the damage ticks when we were watching the gameplay footage, which came after this, seemed just a little bit excessive, but maybe her base damage isn't really that high on its own.
Well, that's what they were stating. They were stating that her actual hits are pretty weak comparatively to the other characters in the game. It's going to be through her ticks that she gets her kills or assists. And from what it really looks like, it looks more like she's just an assist god. So
yeah, I didn't get a chance to really watch the PvP end of it too much because I was actually watching it at work, so the phone was in my pocket for about 90% of that part of it. So I just saw the dojo bit with the minions, and it looked pretty strong there, but everyone looks strong against minions. So
in the PvP portions, it was pretty much the same. Whenever enemies were clumped up, lots of damage was being put out because she was spreading the damage, which we'll talk about here. But other than that, her main hits, they did seem on the weekend, but it wasn't hitting them wasn't what she was trying to do. It was trying to get the poison out and then, of course, get the allies and bolster them, etc., etc.
Now, next up, first of her abilities is Patient Zero, which I think was the red circle that looked like a person in it from our Conjectureland episode. That increases her or her allies' attack speed by 25% for 5 seconds, and then nearby enemies also take 67 damage per second for 3 seconds. That seems crazy good and probably a little bit overpowered to me, especially the 25% attack speed.
No, don't be.
I don't know. You got to look on your face like you don't agree with that.
Don't be jumping on that bandwagon, man. She ain't OP. You ain't even played her yet. I saw that in the chat. Everyone's like, oh, OP already. OP 2017. I'm like, wait till you play her before you say anything, because once again, her base damage is, from what they say, really weak. Her health is pretty low from what I see, and to boot, from what they were talking about, her escaping ability, her retreating ability is minimal to nothing. So she's got a lot of things that are obviously going against her, and it's through this, her abilities here, that she becomes way more powerful. So,
well, see, the only counter I had to that was when they were showing the gameplay and people were talking about it, they were saying, oh yeah, she's really great if you throw that, that Patient Zero on an Atticus, because that 25% really helps him out. And I'm thinking, oh, well, Atticus, sure, his attack speed is low, but what if she throws it on an Eldrag, and he does his Dragon Splash and gets 20% attack speed buff from that, or he's in Fuego and has his crazy attack speed buff? What happens if she throws that on him right then? I'm assuming there's some kind of attack speed cap built into the game. You can only have so much, because that's how it normally is for these kinds of games. But I was thinking, man, this has the potential to totally wreck shop if you're coordinated and put it on the right person at the right time. That's the only reason I was thinking that.
Well, I would agree in a sense, but at the same time, that's coordinating a team and becoming amazing. And if you're playing that way, well, hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
You also got to remember, Matt, that you can pop on items that augment your attack speed, and then of course there's abilities like you were already talking about. I'm excited because I want to see a Phoebe with insane attack speed. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm definitely excited for it. I'm just worried that they might have to turn the dial down a little bit once you and I get a freaking Phoebe and a Beatrix combo going, or an Eldrag and Beatrix combo, and I'm hitting somebody 14 times with my Eldrag attack before they can even hit me once. That's all I'm saying.
And when we're murdering people like that, we're not going to tell anybody about it. Because we want to keep murdering people like that.
That's true. We'll push our Beatrix deep dive way, way, way off. Like in 2019, we'll talk about that.
Exactly.
Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea.
I like that idea, Matt. That sounds perfect.
One more last thing about Patient Zero is you notice in the footage when she activates it, her syringe goes into this creepy snake arm
that was
mode.
awesome.
It was awesome and weird, and they were like, hey, her snake arm looks kind of alive, but I don't want to say anything.
Every time that happened, I was like, what in the hell is going on? That is sweet.
Especially the weird version when she didn't target anybody and it like swept around and like sprayed the stuff all over her. That animation was freaking awesome.
Yeah, I was extremely impressed with that. I was like, oh my gosh. It was those details, and some others we'll talk about in a minute, that were just making me just, I want to play her so bad. Couldn't wait. So moving on to her skill 2, she's got Fulminate. Beatrix fires a rapid barrage of homing projectiles that deal 27 damage each and weaken enemies, reducing attack damage by 30% for 3 seconds. This, once again, is another awesome support ability and a way to just control the hell out of areas. I mean, holy cow. I saw this in the PvP portion, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I can get on board with this. I can finally get on board with just standing back and just launching this crap. Oh my gosh. And just watching them go whee down the screen and pop, 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 pop. Don't even have to try, and I'm winning.
He's got to press the win button, Eric.
That's right. And then the best part is it weakens enemies. I mean, so while they're all, your rest of your guys are in there fighting away, and you're just popping those off on everybody, like I said, since it, does a little mild heat seek in there, it's hitting something as long as you're at a decent range. And then they're just in there wrecking house. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I definitely was very excited for this, just for the potential of it's an awesome way to get a ranged character to affect like a brawl between melee people. You shoot that out, even if your boulder's getting double teamed by like a Galilea and a Wrath or something. Now they're doing way less damage. Now he's got a chance to push him off, back away, get out of there. Just, I don't know. We've been hungering for debuffs for the longest time. This is the kind of debuff I really want.
That's what I've been waiting for as well. Like you were just saying, if it's a 2-on-1 scenario, you hit both of them, that's a 60% reduction between the two of them in damage coming on your character. So basically, it's like almost not having one of them there. So you pretty much even up the fight and allow your guy, a winning chance there, or at least, at the very least, a chance to get the heck out of Dodge and fight another day. So excited about that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. The only problem I see with these skills she has is she's going to be public enemy number 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even more so than Marquis, I think. I think if you see a Beatrix, hiding out somewhere on the side, it's not going to be we'll get him maybe sometime. It's going to be, no, she's got to go. Because you can't have her spraying her goop everywhere and reducing attack damage and just poisoning everybody and making everyone terrified to clump up and fight, because then you...
Yeah, I definitely think Monuments will be the safe option for her, because you can run up in that overlook peeky-poo, rain your stuff down, I mean, just like a Marquis does, but in this case, having an even more direct, effect on the entire battlefield, the whole fight, that kind of thing. I was thinking about that too, just like, oh man, I can't wait to play against a Beatrix on Echelon, where I can run around and get behind her and nobody will even know what I'm doing and just wreck shop on her. Oh, it'll be fun.
Now, I'll say this. It's possible to wreck shop on her. However, once again, we're not going too far into helixes or anything, but I'll say she has an augmentation at helix to where she picks up a melee ability that goes ahead and does increased amount of damage and, of course, gives her life back. So, if you spec that route, you can, in theory, protect yourself from that, that sort of thing happening to you.
At least a little bit more than you would otherwise, anyway.
Yeah. And lastly, for Beatrix, we've got her ultimate, Outbreak. It plagues a target for 8 seconds, dealing 42 damage per second and wounding them, reducing healing received by 60%. These effects spread among nearby enemies. This was amazing.
Yeah.
In the PvP portion, they showed it. They were all grouped up. They lobbed that in there, and you just watch health just drop, and people start scrambling. I was like, oh yeah, yes, that was amazing.
Definitely love the effect of it. Once it was on people, it would kind of like pop like a bubble around them, And so you could see like the effect range of how they would infect other players in addition to all the damage ticking off every time that bubble popped. It looked so good. I can't wait to just be like, oh, I'm peeky-pooing around for my little hidey hole. Bam! You're all sick, suckers!
You know what? It reminded me of like when you pour hot water on a clump of ants, and then they all just some are dying, some are running. You know, the whole field just scatters, and you're just like, oh. I mean, this is perfect. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then to boot, while they're scrambling because they're taking dot damage, spreading around to nearby enemies, the healing receive's been reduced now. So if you got any Alani or Miko trying to salvage something, it's, oh my God, I'm basically ineffectual, especially for an Alani who, you got to be real careful with your heals because you can't just spam heal. Well, you can if you want to just do 10 heals every second, but,
Like you do, but that's okay.
Whatever. It's at 101 now. Much better.
Yeah, I was thinking on top of that, hey, just drop it on the minion wave, and if nobody's paying attention, they run right up in, pop, pop. Oh, why am I getting damaged? Oh, Jesus. Now I'm getting everyone else sick because I'm running back for the minion wave back to my team. Now they're all running away from me because they don't want to touch me.
Oh, I can't wait. I have a feeling this is going to be the one where you have some beers and you play with Beatrix, and you're just popping this and watching these fools scramble all over the place. That's going to be fun.
How about when they release her and they do Chaos Rumble, you and me rolling as double Beatrix, getting everyone sick. That's going to be awesome.
Sounds like real life.
No, that's like real life at your own household.
Yeah, for me.
Because your one daughter gets sick, the bubble pops, your next one's sick.
Plagues the next one, plagues my wife, plagues me. I got real life experience with this. This is amazing.
I was going to say, this is why you're so excited for it. Jeez, this is every moment of your life.
That's right.
Now, after that, Anthony did give us a little brief walkthrough of a bunch of her taunts and I think one of her special skins. And I got to say, she is like the creepiest character. I mean, they don't have a lot of creepy characters, but it was great, but in an awful creepy way.
No.
It was really well done.
As soon as I saw the second one, the old where the head spinning around, twisting.
The freaking Silent Hill nurse head just going...
I was in love. I went, oh, well, this is going to be one of my go-tos. Has to be. Just done. And then the one where she says something, I can't even remember what she says, and then her tongue comes out, and she's just like... just lolling her tongue there. It was one of the last ones they showed where she, does the whole neck.
Yeah, she does it like a throat chop and then goes.
Yeah, that was awesome. God, so good, so good. And then to boot, that skin that they did show, and then even the gold one that they gave away, both just looked amazing on her. So I was like, I have a feeling that all her skins are gonna synchronize pretty well with her and just look just awesome.
One thing I did want to say is everyone's been super hyped up for Beatrix just based off of her character model and like a couple sketches that we saw. And I don't know, maybe those people also had actually seen her in action, in motion. But once I saw her actual character model moving and the way like the fluid moved in her giant syringe tube, and they pointed it out during the stream, the way the plunger on her syringe actually moves as you fire more and more bullets, and then the reload animation when it fills back up, she kind of taps it with her finger. Just all the little details on her. Her character design isn't really my cup of tea, but all the details in her are just fantastic. Just watching her, I'm just like, wow, she's amazing. She looks fantastic, and I can't wait to actually play with her and see even more hidden details and different cool animations, because I'm sure her helix will change stuff up too. Make things different this way, that way. We didn't see any of the mutations, so I'm sure those will even be crazier. All kinds of good stuff going on there.
Well, and I'm thinking, too, maybe we haven't found some of these Easter eggs, because maybe we have to wait till we get Beatrix. We got to spray the poison on the walls, and it'll be like when you put the black light on, it's going to reveal hidden messages on the walls. So we're going to have to spray all the walls in Toby's friendship raid.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend 6 hours in Toby's friendship raid. Oh, let's go through it 6 more times because we didn't spray wall 1.2.5 in this area exactly. No, I'm not doing
We got to do something.
Oh, damn it. See, you always got to find a downside to the character. Now you just ruined her for me. I'm not even going to get her when she comes out. I got the season pass. I don't even care. Nope, not doing it.
Not going to use your free key. Nope, not doing it.
Nope.
You could spray the walls on your own time, Eric. I don't have time for that.
You don't even get to pick her. I don't care if you got her unlocked. Nope, I'm just running to the boss room. Running to the boss room.
Yeah, you got 3 minutes to spray the walls. And I'm aggravated. For everyone at home, I don't recommend you try that because I sincerely doubt that's actually a way to find any sort of Easter egg because it makes no sense.
I'm 100% sure that's not it. But also, maybe that's how you open that UPR door.
Ooh, spray the console and melts it and then opens the door. Bada bing, bada
Could
boom.
happen. So yeah, other than that, they showed off a little bit of playthrough with her in the dojo and then a couple, was it just one PvP
One PvP match, correct.
And they played it on the best mode, the best map, Echelon. Yeah, baby.
I don't know about all that,
My favorite.
but sure.
Oh, yeah. A lot of good stuff there. Getting to see her in action, getting to see, like we said, pretty much 90% of her helix if you pause the video and check it out. So all kinds of good stuff there. Not a whole lot to dig into after that point, I don't think. But
No, it was pretty much a wrap-up revealing the, launch of the winter update, Beatrix, and, of course, the upcoming Oscar Mike in the Battle School.
in just a second here, we'll be talking about Oscar Mike versus the Battle School.
Oh, goodness. Prepare yourself for all sorts of drunken fun.
Drunken gummy bear fun.
So we just got to check out the Oscar Mike versus the Battle School stream. And oh boy, that was a freaking madhouse, man.
Yes, it definitely was.
They were not kidding when they said they were just going to go ahead and just be off the rails for this one. And you know what? I got to give props to Jim because holy cow, those little masks he was pulling up, just fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I did enjoy that. I liked every time he pulled out an Isaac mask. Obviously, there's some effects done to all of his voices, but Isaac just sounded pretty much basically spot on from what I remember in the game.
Well, I think the problem with the Oscar Mike one was he's got to be, that's his character. He's so loud that it was peaking and screwing with the mic a little bit. So I think that was the only issue with that one. Every once in a while, it was like, burn. And you're like, whoa, Jesus.
Plus, I think since he's always in his helmet, they did like that kind of like radio filter on his voice in general. So hearing it as, a normal guy speaking, I mean, you could hear it, but there was just that like dissonance between the two. You know what I'm saying?
But it was still fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It was fun.
I loved him going in between the characters, popping those suckers up. So, speaking of that, it started off, they had J3 on there, Alyssa, and, of course, Jim. Randy has hopped up on his special gummy bears again. I think somebody over there at Gearbox really needs to take them things away because he might have a problem.
I agree.
I'm not 100% certain. I don't work there, but he might have a problem because he's starting to go off the rails.
Well, see, it makes me wonder if, like, outside of, in his normal life, maybe he just, like, is, like, a super vegetarian, doesn't eat any sugar or anything, because I've eaten, like, a whole bag of gummy bears before because I'm a fat fuck, and it doesn't make me all hyper.
We can tell, Matt.
Oh, man, come on.
So he was... Oh, my God. Well... I might have ruined the podcast.
This is why I didn't watch you back this week. I'm just doing it solo.
So Randy's on there, and he was starting to get into the lore behind this, and and I love it when he gets on there about lore because he's all animated and he's just bah, 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 just throwing it out there, just going and going, and then and then also I did this because of this, and we thought this was great, and they just were going and going for like a half hour on this story behind, Oscar Mike as a character and how Jim got the part. And I was just, I thought that was fantastic. It was the whole story behind how Jim came into the picture and the build up to him being Oscar Mike, because he started off as Chuck.
Yeah.
And, it's like, I think, wow, what a wonderful change, because as cool as Chuck Norris is, I don't think Chuck as a character would have worked, but Oscar Mike was perfect.
Just thinking of it right now, it made me think of, remember when we saw Ernest's initial concept art and he was like an old World War I soldier type dude? Talking about Chuck and how Jim changed him into Oscar Mike and changed like the overall tone of the game, it makes me think that, maybe all those character designs, all those really old ones were from back before it got fun and goofy, when maybe they wanted it to be like, I don't know how serious they wanted it to be, but, it sounds like more serious than what it ended up. Because even, like you said, the Oscar Mike character was not the goofy kind of send-up, tongue-in-cheek, version of, the FPS hero, the FPS fanboy kind of guy.
Well, what it sounds like, though, from the original concept, they did want to have him as we're making fun of an FPS character.
Right.
But I think what they were saying was that Jim and them took it off the rails as it went, and he became a complete moron instead of just like we're actually making fun of FPS shooters.
We're making fun of it, but you could still do that in like a serious character. Just he's so you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're talking. I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Maybe everybody knows what you're talking about.
I was gonna say because I made a hand gesture and nobody can see it, and I kind of went like, which goes in with the hand gesture. So it's.
Mm-hmm. So after they got done with the lore and the buildup of who Oscar Mike is and how this came to be, he talked also about this particular ops mission, which is Oscar Mike wanting to validate his place in the Mike world, in what do they call it? The Kingdom of Mikes.
It was the bucket of bros, I think, was the.
Well, that was the bucket of bros. Yeah. That's what a gaggle of Oscar Mike.
No,
is.
You mean a bucket?
Yeah, a bucket of bros, but as in the world that they inhabit.
Yeah.
I think it's the Kingdom of Mikes.
So, something like that, at least. I don't know if that was exactly it, but yeah.
There's a Kingdom of Mikes. And he's trying to get in there and prove his worth, get back in the band, basically. Get back and hook up with his bros. And they, of course, want to test him because they think he's gone soft in the belly. And that's what this is all about. Yep. Oscar Mike in the battle school, proving that he still has what it takes to be an Oscar Mike.
And they said, of course, that since it is a story op, it works basically the same as all the other ones. You got all the ops points. You got 2 skins per character. You got special titles. You have this time a special taunt for Oscar Mike that you can unlock. It looks like he's doing like a rifle twirl type deal. Pretty cool. I enjoyed it. And that, at certain ops points, you'll get the faction packs, all that good stuff. This is probably going to be the only place other than the regular story missions that you can still get regular faction packs and then commander packs, which you'll get at 100 ops points. One quick fun side note from later in the stream about ops points is that this time Oscar Mike, who's kind of there with you in spirit as you're going through the battle school, he's actually going to be the one to give you the side ops that let you earn extra ops points. And it seems like these are a lot more random than before, like, hey, how about you guys go jump through some weird hoops off the end of the bridge out here? Typical Oscar Mike type of missions that he would actually give you to do.
Yes, silly bullcrap that is irritating and or makes no sense. Perfect. Yeah, I like that integration there. And I will say, when they were teasing that and they were kind of like showing them doing that, I was a little sad because the audio was super low on that. And so Sam, he was in there kind of just narrating what was going on, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
And so I was kind of like, oh, man, I was hoping they'd pump up the audio and let us just kind of delve into what Oscar Mike and his interactions with...
Well, see, your boy Matt, I sacrificed my hearing. I had my earbuds in, so it was a little easier to hear anyway. But I cranked that son of a gun up, and then I was reading the subtitles on the screen with my phone like 2 inches from my face. So I was able to see it a little bit more than I think the majority of viewers did, because I noticed as soon as they went to gameplay, the chat blew up as it always did with, oh, make it louder, can you make it louder?
Lastly, before Randy took off, he went ahead and also verified that in this new ops there will be a Borderlands 3 Easter egg as promised. He also clarified that there is still one Borderlands 3 Easter egg in the Atticus and the Thrall Rebellion that we have not found, and there is one in Toby's Friendship Raid that no one has found. Mm-hmm. And then to further that, somebody on Twitter asked the question last week, is there going to be a Borderlands symbol to accompany all of these secrets? And he said there will not be a Borderlands symbol with any of the other secrets to date.
Let me stroke my goatee for a minute and think, who was it that asked? Because it wasn't Steve Bajojo Jr., and it wasn't the guy who runs Bob's Kebabs.
No,
and I mean, it wasn't like your dad. And
I think it was Mahaga.
No, it actually wasn't you or me either. It was actually Danny. So props to Danny, because,
No, I asked a question.
Okay.
Danny retweeted it and got the attention.
She did it properly and tagged Jithri on it.
Yeah, that's true. I was just replying to Joe and a couple other guys.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, maybe J3 will answer the
I was
question.
going to say, maybe instead of just putting it out into the ether somewhere and praying that it gets answered, she flagged him down.
Hey, that's the fun, though. Lassoed him down from the heavens and had him answer the question.
That's right.
It's
Like
beautiful.
Like Pecos Bill. Just.
That's why we keep her around.
Oh, yep.
After he went ahead and announced that we will indeed have those Borderlands 3 Easter eggs, he took off and Sam replaced his empty chair to talk about his part in this whole ops mission, which was writing it. He did a whole bunch of writing for Oscar Mike in this particular ops and talked about how he feels that his part's, minuscule in the whole scheme of things, and just loves it when he sees Jim take up his lines and turns them into awesome jokes. And then how when Seong and the other artists get together and do all that crazy cool artwork, and then it just all comes together and becomes Oscar Mike versus the Battle School. It was pretty neat to see, just him being on there humble, just talking about, his part in it all. And it's strange to see that he's like, yeah, man, I just wrote it all in 12 hours. I stayed up all night and just bashed it out, and here you go, and away they go. And then weeks, months later, after tons of hard work and everything else, here you go. You get yourself a whole ops mission.
Yeah, I really liked the part where he was talking about, I think someone asked a question from chat about how is writing games different from writing, anything else, like a book or something. And I liked his feedback of, well, you write something and you're not really sure if it'll work or not, so you can just walk over like 4 desks to the voice actor, have him say it, and you're like, maybe that'll work. Walk 2 desks down to the character designer and say, hey, would this guy say this? And you go, no, or let's tweak it this way. It's kind of a nice little behind-the-scenes kind of deal of how they tweak things, how 3 different people, like you said, come together to make this whole new thing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed that little nugget there. And then, of course, while he was sitting there, they went ahead and did the whole Oscar Mike versus the Battle School tease like we were already talking about. And he was kind of narrating what was going on and little things to notice while Anthony, who was the individual playing Beatrix at the time, was going through and participating in, obviously, the ops mission. So it was pretty neat. Like I said, I just wish I could have heard it a little bit better. But
A couple things I did want to point out. They said that the part that they were showing, at least, was kind of more horde mode based. Like you'd go into an open arena, have to fight a bunch of Varelsi or a bunch of bots or a bunch of this or that. Before Randy left, he was saying that a lot of bosses will be inside these combat arenas, and that their abilities had been tweaked a little bit on some of them. The one thing I did notice during the stream was in one of the rooms, Anthony went up against a Varelsi Devourer, and I noticed
I saw that,
when he went up into melee range, it did this kind of like weird spit attack where it like kind of like spat around in an arc, which I don't think I've ever seen the Devourer on Face Off do. I think it just stands there and stops and like shoots up stuff in the air that'll fall down and create the areas on the ground. So I think that kind of like spit or gas or flame or whatever you want to call it, that kind of attack was a new option for that boss.
And then to add to that, in the chat, everybody was going nuts, going, Jeff, 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 So hopefully the Lord Spider himself will make an appearance in this ops and make everybody really happy.
Well, he totally should, because Oscar Mike frickin' hates spiders. And if the other Mikes know that about him, because he's one of these weird Mikes who's lived longer and has feelings and all this stuff, you think that maybe he'd be like the boss of the ops mission. Just, hey, you made it this far. Well, here, face your ultimate nightmare. Oh my God, giant spider!
Boom. It'd be perfect. And I think they're going to do it. I don't think they would have teased, maybe some of your favorite bosses will be back.
Yeah.
Well, duh, who's everybody's favorite boss?
I was going to say, who goes, the Varelsi Devourer, he's my favorite. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's going to be Ja. Yeah. Pretty sure. I'm going to put money on it. I'm going to put some money on it.
That's our one quick swing around the bend of Speculation River right there. I think
exactly.
I think that's it.
And beyond that, I did want to add, I don't want to put a negative on it, but we talked about it a little bit before the show, how they were talking about it might be more of a horde mode. And I do think that is a little concern. I hope that there's multiple rooms at least for like maybe you'll do 2 or 3 rounds in one room, 2 or 3 rounds in another room, etc., and then moving on to the bosses or whatever. Hope it's not the entirety of the ops inside that one battle arena.
Well, it looked to me like, you go into the Horde room, clear the Horde, and you got kind of sucked back out, and then it kind of did like its own little configuration to be something different. Like, I know when they first walked up, there was like a fire room, and then it turned into like an ice room, and then it kind of went to a base room. So I'm wondering if, as your ops points go up, maybe you'll have more dangerous physical rooms. Like, here's an actual fire pit in the middle that you got to avoid. Here's, something with like moving platforms that'll fall down and crush you or push you up into the ceiling.
So it's going to be a lot like X-Men's Danger Room.
That's what I'm hoping. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Because you could, these guys are really creative. You could do a lot of interesting combat scenarios with constantly shifting rooms.
Well, here's the hoping, because that would stink if it's like the same room for like the entirety of it, except for maybe like the last boss or something.
I'm sure it wouldn't be that bad.
Nah, it won't be. It's going to be fantastic. So, anywho, that was it for that stream.
Yeah.
Everybody was pretty super stoked. Jim and all them really put on a show for everybody.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I had me cracking up, and when they did the tea party, everybody lost their dang minds, man. It was pretty awesome. I was a little sad that Randy bailed on that one, though. He wanted to come in being all crazy, gummy beared up Randy, but then when they mentioned doing a tea party, he scooted badooted pretty fast.
One other thing of note is Anthony was playing through as Beatrix on this stream, and this stream he actually had some of her mutations unlocked. So if anybody wanted to go back and freeze frame some of those to see how they change how she plays, just as a fun, get yourself all geared up and hyped up before she comes out. I did specifically notice that he had the mutations this time. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That was actually neat, the weapons and everything else going on the side that he had activated. So, well, I think I'll go and do it fresh, but if anybody's super curious, like you said, more than welcome to try that out.
One fun tidbit that we got at the very end of the stream, people were asking Jim for his gamer tag or his PlayStation name. And he did give out not his primary one, but his secondary one that he goes on just to have fun and screw around with. That is Fury Potato of Fury. So if anyone out there is playing on PSN like us, go ahead, friend him up. I noticed not too long after the stream, he tweeted out that his privacy settings weren't right, so he couldn't get friends, but he was fixing that as soon as he could. So, yeah, friend that man up. Give him like 1 billion friends. That way he'll always have somebody to play with.
Not only have somebody to play with, but, now that you know his name, maybe you get to see him in battle and hunt him down over and over relentlessly.
That's right.
It'll be fantastic. So that wraps it up. Everybody's pumped. Can't wait to get in there. And I know Matt's a little sad about how wild they went, but I'm hoping the streams going forward are just off the rails bonkers, just like this one, because I loved it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Eric.
Thank you very much, Matt.
So, yeah, what do you guys think of both of those streams? What's got you most excited? Send us your feedback.
Uh-oh, feedback.
Who just walked in the room? Oh, it's Johnny Mailbag. Hey, Johnny Mailbag, what do you got for me today?
What's in the mailbag?
Today's mailbag comes to us from our excellent audio person, Danny, and she sent me a text. It was like a week after our Christmas wish video saying, hey, I really wish blah, 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 and I was like, it's too late. And she went, well, just use it as mailbag. So it's mailbag now.
It's a dead Christmas wish. That's our mailbag.
Well, hey, maybe in 2017, the year of hope and miracles, the dead Christmas wish can rise to its feet and sprout butterfly wings and fly away.
That's right. It's just in a cocoon. We're all right.
That's right. It's a chrysalis. So she says, you know what I wish? I wish there was a spot somewhere that told you the stats of your current character. Like if I add gear that increases attack damage, I can visibly see the stat change. So on and so on.
In a world of dreams and happiness, that would be fantastic. Because I can tell you, most certainly, there's been a billion times where I'm in there trying to pick out loadouts and just go through in my head what's going on. But if I had was able to pull up the character, put him in the side note there, and then start picking pieces and playing with it and seeing what, like she said, what those percentages are and what they would go up by, that would make life easier. Especially for like healing and stuff, you could see like the healing power, the healing of the HOTS, healing over time, etc., how that affects everything, and decide whether it's worth your time. Or I think that'd be a great idea. Obviously, I don't think they did it with the coming winter update, so we missed a bucket on that one.
But yeah, definitely. Like I said when we were talking about the Beatrix stream recap, it would be nice to be able to put a bunch of gear on and I mean, this is going way too deep into it, but even if you're able to go, oh, well, this is when I get my 20% attack speed boost, and this, if that would be a way to actually see if there are hard caps on stats, like if I boost his health by this many, and then I put a health item on, if it just goes, all right, he's got 700 health or whatever, and that's it, no matter what more you put into that stat. I think that would be definitely cool. And speaking of other cool things that we kind of wish would happen, something I've talked to you about a lot is, I've got a lot of characters who are level 15, but I don't have all the lore challenges on them yet. But when I'm in a game, I'm playing and, I want to play Thorn this time, but I don't remember what those lore challenges are. Another fun dead wish from Christmas time would be some kind of way to pin certain lore challenges to your home screen or like just to the game screen in general.
I was going to say to the HUD. So like whenever you're in round, just like they do in MMOs, on the side there, and little text is, hey, make sure to jump 27 times and do this. And, oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to work on that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be a nice piece of functionality. I don't know how easy that would be to do, but if there was some way to patch that in, that would help people master their characters a lot easier.
I think that one's not too hard either, honestly. I mean, that's just putting a little bubble of text up in your HUD. I don't think that would be an impossibility at all. But that, of course, it depends on if people actually want it and if Gearbox has time to mess with it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
True.
But Danny's would be sweet, too. And as you were saying, to go deeper with that, you could take that and have the character on and then have it so you can tab your skills.
Oh, yeah.
So if you push this, now you've got that attack speed up to 20. Now you've got the damage up to here, and then add on the proper mutations and then the items, and then you can see, like you said, if there's any hard caps or what it actually brings you to, and you can be like, oh my god, if I can make sure I cap these 3 things at once, I'd be at 270% attack damage. And
you just sparked me right there. That's something they could probably put into the dojo, just like a stat screen off to the right.
Dojo!
Just here's what your stats are. And then, I activated this, bloop, attack speed went up. Activate the gear, bloop, it went up this much, et cetera, et cetera. That'd be perfect.
That would be awesome in the dojo. Holy cow. All right there, Gearbox, you heard it.
It's 2 fantastic ideas right there.
Just pop those in. Boom.
But yeah, if you guys have any questions or suggestions or fun things you want to send to us for the mailbag, you can email us at info@thirdshift.me. You can find Poor Lonely Eric on Facebook under Third Shift, or you can hang out in the cool place, Twitter, with me and all the rest of the guys. We're Third Shift Me, that's Third Shift ME on Twitter.
Heck yeah, man. We love it over there on the old twits.
On my tweet box, I have lots of fun.
The old twits. That's where I go to have me some fun. Oh, goodness.
It's going. It's getting close to 10. It's going.
It's getting beautiful. So we definitely want to hear back from you. And as a side note, anybody who's already, posed some questions to us that we haven't gotten to, we haven't forgotten about you. We still got you in that mailbag and just waiting for that old question to pop up. So yeah, as always and every week, boys and girls, we love and adore each and every one of you. We thank you for listening and enjoyed very much getting this episode out to you. And if you enjoyed this episode, we're hoping maybe you can head on over to Patreon. We've set up a little tip jar and would very much appreciate it if you tossed in $1 every now and again. If you liked what you hear, it helps us out, helps us get the little equipment, little doodads, this and that, just to make us a little bit better. Or make us worse. I don't know. Whatever. It does something.
I can't imagine we get much worse, Eric.
Shut up, Matt. Shut up, Matt.
Hey, maybe if people put enough money in the tip jar, Eric will show up every week.
I was there last week, man. I swear to God, you saw it. You saw that Battleplan.
I'll pull back the curtain for a second. While we were recording the Beatrix stream breakdown, we're on Skype, recording with each other, and I had the Dropbox open, and it went bloop, bloop. And it specifically said Eric's Battleplan recording or whatever it was. I was like, oh, look, you actually were there, but we didn't get it until right now.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck happened with all that, but oh well, whatever. So to wrap it up, we thank everybody who has contributed and thrown a tip in the tip jar. It's very much appreciated. And we, as always, are going to keep doing these episodes and look forward to that Conjecture Land episode that someday we're going to have out. Someday we're going to do it. In fact, it might become like a thing, a Conjectureland episode. We got to conjecture about the Conjectureland episode.
No, we're going to do it this Saturday
okay.
at some point.
Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe not.
I mean,
maybe not.
unless you can't, and then we'll just do it and then we'll do tax end, and then, it'll be like February, and who wants to do stuff in February? We'll get it out by November at least.
Precisely. But look forward to the Conjectureland episode, because not only are we going to talk about things we think they're going to happen here in the future with Gearbox and all that, but we're also going to talk a little bit about what we're hoping for ourselves, stuff we want to do, stuff we want to improve on a little bit, and incorporate into, what we are as Third Shift. So definitely look forward to that. And back to you, man. Let's end it up.
In the future, you can find that Conjectureland episode on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Podomatic, where we've always been. It'll probably even go up on YouTube and Google Play Music, too. So you can find our regular episodes every Friday. We'll see you guys again on the 20th of January for our very next episode. And with that, what else is there to say but don't forget to save.
Shut up and sit down.